Welcome to Friend or Farewell. We're beginning today with... Tatsu from Way of the House Husband. I love this. This manga, really good. It's about an ex-Yakuza, basically like a hitman, who retires and becomes like a super nice house husband, and he's just really lovely and awesome to his wife. It's so overwhelmingly funny, just the sheer contrast of this guy is just like the nicest husband in the entire universe, but he does everything still in the style of like a dramatic mob boss film or something. So you get all these dramatic scenes of him being like opens up a trench coat, like, you got the white stuff, and it's like, yeah, sodium bicarbonate, that can get all the stains out. It's adorable. I love it. Really cute. But in terms of Friends and Farewell, we're judging this based on design, and the character, the personality, I love him so much, but the design, not a huge fan of it, because, I mean, he is really just like a regular, generic, tough guy design, but he has a cute apron on. It serves its purpose of like establishing the premise of the comic immediately, but it's also not really standing out for me in any particular way. It is really just like any like mob Yakuza thug from anything forever, but cuted. And that is what it is. That's what it is. That is exactly what the premise of the manga is, and it just shows sometimes having a bad design can work better than having a good design, depending on what purpose the design serves. It's good. It's a good character design exercise. We've learned things together today, but also I just don't really like the design very much. It is just a guy in an apron. Hatsune Miku or Miku Hatsune. I am not familiar in any way with Vocaloid. I just know that people make memes about this character a lot.
Hatsune Miku!
I'm assuming she's like the main Vocaloid character. I know Vocaloid is some sort of like music synthesis software which for some reason has anime mascots, and I don't know. It's not my kind of thing. I'm not a musical person myself. I can't even memorize all the musical notes, and so I was terrible, no aptitude for it whatsoever. Judging based on the design, not really doing it for me, not my kind of thing. Again, I'm not really a fan of cute anime girls. Basically, if anytime anything's appealing as cute as in attractive rather than cute as in adorable, then that just doesn't do it for me because I'm very asexual. I'm assuming this design is meant to be some sort of character you want to date, and that's kind of that appeal, because that's what most anime girls tend to be, right? This kind of template of an anime girl. The colour scheme is nice, you have some blacks and some teals. Teals is a colour I like. I kind of vaguely like the appeal of the sleeveless shirt, but then having also attached sleeves. That's an interesting idea. I feel bad at being mean about people's favourite character. It's a very popular character. I just want to say, obviously you've already been able to tell this from all my other previous Friend of Wells, but I have very niche and obscure tastes, and I have a weird brain that works weirdly. So trust me, I'm not knocking on the fact that this character is very popular and all that. It's just I don't tend to like things that are very popular, and it's not I'm purposefully trying to buck a trend or anything. It's just how things all work out. So to people who love this character, keep on loving this character. I support you 100%, and I feel bad I didn't have very much interesting to say about her. The only thing I like the sleeveys. Cliff Underson. I'm not sure if that's a spelling mistake or if the character really is pronounced that way. I'm not sure how you pronounce Underson without an O. Underson. Clive Underson. Snans Undersunder. But this character design, oh my god, it's a garden gnome is off the shits. Grandpa is gonna destroy you. Holy shit. It's it is literally just every archetype of a traditional dwarf grandpa in every fantasy thingamajiggy. When you don't have him a big old full beard traditional dwarf, that's how you tend to have a dwarf character who's that. It's oh yeah, we're shaking up. We have a short bearded dwarf guy who's buff instead of short, and it's Yeah, but then they just gave him a really big fuck off knife that's as big as his entire body, as bigger than his entire body. Like, oh my god, this grandpa can destroy us all. Like, oh. And his outfit, it's like, it makes me think of like I don't know, like, not a pope because they have hats, but like some sort of like temple person in like medieval times. I don't even know, but like it's like that, but like I flexed so hard the sleeves came off. I really like I don't know what is up with it or what the reason is for anything, but I really like the metally type things around his sleeves and stuff. Like his outfit just has random metal put on it. Like he has little metal like cowboy spurs, or if it's like an assistance device, like the Automail in Full Metal Alchemist. And I really like how practical it was in that series too. It wasn't just like, well, we've made a magical equivalent of prosthetics that are better in every possible way. We have a magical equivalent of prosthetics, and they have their own like pluses and minuses in their own ways. It's their own like unique difficulties that people have when they're using this. And they also went to the effort of showing that like real world regular prosthetics do still exist in that universe. And Automail is considered like it's harder to afford, and it's also hard to go through physical therapy to have them. I'm going really off topic here. Anyway, I also like the whatever this metallic thing is around the neck. To me, it looks like come up like some sort of like I don't know, like mechanized gas mask, like an astronaut helmet, but like a big Pac-Man chomping helmet. It's really giving me vibes of a dwarf character for some reason. I don't know. It makes me think all of this stuff like it would be really cool. It's like it was like a interesting world building development of like how people can live in like such like super lows, like because there's always that thing like dwarfs are, like we live in like the subterranean caves underground and stuff, and that's where we get all our metals, and like we're super weapon people and stuff. It would be so cool to like mix dwarfs with like actual like inventions and mechanics and stuff like that, rather than just swords. But like this guy's like it's taken dwarfs forging swords to a whole new level. Like dwarfs are like mini mechas and like all these combinations. Like it's basically like if dwarfs with like magical mechanical like astronaut helmets and like air tanks to be able to go to delve lower down in the caves than any other human has ever been. And then I don't know what the little like spinny pizza cutters on the bottom of the weird robe thingy-majiggy are, but they're cool, and it makes me feel like I don't know, like maybe you can attach it to someone else's or something. But then I find a perspective, like if that was supposed to attach to the matching twirly things on the helmet part, or if you attach it to someone else's, wouldn't that be like permanently like sticking you together in the position to kiss each other? Maybe they are so galaxy brained in the magical giant knife dwarf places that they've invented like mechanical helmets for better kissing, and that's what this grandpa specialises in. Overall, on my rating of grandpa designs, I would give him a mild meh for that. There is not too much about him in terms of being a grandpa that is like ahead of it. Like this is like again like the traditional grandpa design of like we just got big eyebrows and stuff like that, but it also kind of mixes like the traditional dwarf design and stuff. There's nothing particularly unusual about the grandpa parts of his designs. That's why I haven't been commenting on him as a grandpa so much. But everything about the rest of him shows that this guy has like a full wild like super fleshed out interesting life to him beyond just being a really 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 awesome grandpa who is amazing. This is an awesome grandpa who has so many stories to tell of like kicking everyone's ass with his gigantic massive fuck offs. like come on, this guy is defeating Cloud from Final Fantasy VII 20 times over. Like, oh my god, this is what happened. This is because his hair's all spiky. This is what happened to Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. This is Cloud of the future. Headcanon accepted now. Cloud becomes a subterranean robotic technician dwarf and also spells his name with no vowels in it. And I don't even know. But yeah, this guy definitely this is going to go on a big old faves list of friends. Fraves of Fnemd. Rinosuke, is that Rinosuke or Rinosuke? If I'm ever making any mistakes due to my lack of knowledge about these characters, feel free to put a correction in the comments. I would really appreciate it. But anyway, Rinosuke Morishika from Touhou Curiosities of Lotus Asia. Oh, actually, I wouldn't have expected this guy was a Touhou because he looks totally different. He looks like a character from Dot Hack, which is that series that my friend Nova really likes. So they always have really cool. You have like outfits just like this. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's sort of like a weird mix of like traditional Japanese like outfits with like cyberpunky type stuff, and those specifically, I don't know what they're called. These thingies that flop around the the sleeve, like the sleeves of the skirt, but it's not really a skirt. Instead of a skirt, it's like two sleeveys. That kind of thing I've seen in a lot of dot hack designs, and I have no idea what they're called, but they're interesting. This design very interesting and nice. And also those little patterns, those complex patterns in it, having a design which is like, I really like how a design is like, it's like asymmetrical, but it's not like obviously asymmetrical, it's like subtly asymmetrical. It's like a design that's very again, the thing I was saying before, designs that are very complex in the details, but have a very simple colour scheme works really well. But here, it's like, the complexity of the details takes the attention away from the fact that it's asymmetrical. One sleeve is black and one sleeve is blue. A vertical asymmetrical, asymmetrical, like on the top of the body, but not asymmetrical on the bottom. I think that's a really cool and interesting thing. It reminds me of the aesthetic of like, if it's like, you know, those outfits where they have like one sleeve and then the other side is like open, like a Conan the Barbarian type outfit. But it's like that, but not a fan service version, because it's not actually an open chest. Instead, it's like it's like a regular shirt patterned to look like Conan the Barbarian asymmetry, and then the bottom half is not asymmetrical. It flows really well together, and it's good. Like, having the bottom half not be asymmetrical, but instead have the black part be the weird, like, bunny ear hip thingamajiggies. What is in it? Does anyone know the name of what these floofy things are? I want to know, because I want to see more characters who have that design. It looks so much fun. I just imagine running around them, flailing behind you like your arms in a Naruto run. I love a good mix of complex details and simple colours. I love it. It looks like a design. It looks like an outfit that's like complicated to put on, but it looks like it'd be very comfy once you've actually on it. There's so many like little details. I'm noticing more of it as I go through. Like, it's got these little like ring pulls on the shoulders, and these little tassels that mildly remind me of like cowboy outfits, but not. There's so much stuff in here. I don't know. Like, it's like mixing loads of different outfit themes from different countries and everything. I have no idea what this figure in the middle is, though. I can't really tell because the resolution of the image isn't high up. To me, it looks kind of like you slapped a post box onto his abs. Like one of those big toolboxes, those big traditional... It's the red toolbox that Wallace has in Wallace and Gromit, the first one. That is all I think of now, oh my gosh. And now all I can think of is when they were eating the moon cheese. I'm getting slightly off topic, but yeah, I really like this design. I also really like how there's so many like good levels of contrast, but also blending well together and everything. It's like, it's not too much contrast, but it's not too little contrast. I like the contrast of like how the character himself, his design is like very simple. He's got like a very simple short haircut, and he's got little glasses and stuff, and then his outfit is so bombastic. And like, I'm sorry, now I can't stop looking at the ab toolbox. I was imagining that being some sort of weird way of flirting. It's like you slap a toolbox onto your abs, and you open up, and there's a little window that shows your abs. And you can tell I don't understand fan service very much. Overall, pretty good, pretty great. I like this guy. And friend. Fashion friend. Oh, Tempest Anderson. Oh, I don't know. This is a character. I saw memes about this character on Twitter. The name was, it said Testament was their name, but it says Tempest. So is it like Testament? Is there like, I don't know, nickname or like chosen name? And all I know about them is that they're from some sort of series that apparently this other guy is from. Like, I so cool they have a supportive grandpa who's also a weird sword astronaut kiss helmet man. I saw a thread on Twitter of like everyone being like, oh my god, it's so like in the SJWs, they turned Testament into a non-binary person in the most recent game. And then there was like people like pulling out receipts of like interviews with like the Japanese creators of the game. Like, the character was always supposed to be non-binary, and like it was just previous English translated games had like censored it, but a bazillion receipts of interviews from like 10 years ago of the creator of the game going, hey, I created this androgynous character who's supposed to be androgynous, and that's like the entire thing. I don't know if a character like technically like identifies as non-binary, but basically like this is a genderless character, and like even before being non-binary was like more commonly well known, this character was already supposed to be a genderless character, and like I just think that's really awesome. Anyway, getting back to the design is so clearly an androgynous character. I can't even imagine how people were doubting this. I love it. Like me personally, the way I like to be androgynous is like wearing clothes that are like neither masculine or feminine, but I really do appreciate the design aesthetic of like designing clothes like a mixture of like very traditionally masculine, very traditionally feminine clothes. Like here you can see you have like a suit and a top hat mixed with like a dress and a cape and then like everything and then like booty shorts, and it's just like galaxy brain mind blowing stuff. Like, and I love how there's so many different designs in like everything, where they've designed different ways of combining a suit and a dress. And like this is a one I've never seen before. Before I've seen like ones where it's like asymmetry down the front is like half of it is a suit and then half of it a dress. And I've seen ones where it's like a suit, but then like it's a dress at the bottom. It's like a suit top on the top and a dress at the bottom. It extends a suit out and down and makes it into a dress, and it's so cool. I love it. I also really love the aesthetic of like wearing like a more of a like. I'm really stumbling over my words. I get too hyperactive doing this. I'm having so much fun. I really like the aesthetic of like having a top hat and then long hair. I don't know why, but I just feel like top hats look better on people who have long hair. It's just like you have a long hat and then you have a long hair underneath a long hat, and it's just like it's complementing each other in opposite directions. It's like, but yeah, it reminds me of like, what's his name? There's that one guy with a top hat and the long hair in JoJo, and I haven't seen very much JoJo myself, but I have a bunch of friends who like JoJo, and I know that in the first arc or something there's a guy who's like that. Speedwagon! I remember because his name makes no sense to me, it's very funny. I also really like how this character like managed to pull off having like only one colour to like their entire design. Your entire outfit and the hair is also like all black, and it works really good because you have this outfit which is like all the same colour and all blend together and stuff. Again, you know what I mean about like having like a contrast between simple colours and complex designs. Here, having like a bunch of complex buttons and highlights and tags and twigs and cravat thingies and skulls and stuff really helps with its design where it's all just one basic colour, because it helps like delineate the designs, but not stumbling from the words. It helps like let the parts of a design stand out from each other, even though they don't stand out from each other, if it makes any sense. Like, it doesn't just all smoosh together into one big old blob and you can't really tell anything. It's just like, hi, I'm wearing a massive snuggie and like there's nothing poking out except my feet and my head. But that, honestly, that sounds adorable. Now I kind of want to draw a fan art. But anyway, you know what I mean. Like, having the outfit be like that, be all black all over, but then have like these good highlights, like showing like the edges of it and all the bits and all that, and where all divides up and all that, and having those bits be very detailed and the rest of it, the outfit be very similar. It's all really, really good. And then all of that makes a massive, awesome, super ridiculous skull scythe stand out so well, and it is so cool. This is a character who you can tell like their weapon and their outfit were all designed very well to work together as a whole. This is a character who definitely is from a fighting game. As far as I know, Guilty Gear is a fighting game. Correct me if I'm totally, absolutely butterfuck wrong on that. But yeah, it just, you can really tell this design was made from the head to the toe to be a character who would synergize really well with like cool animations with their weapon in a fighting game. Like, oh my gosh, and the weapon, oh my god, I'm supposed to be just judging them based on the character design, but I'm judging the weapon design too. Like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. You got a scythe, you got like the handle of a scythe is a goddamn entire screaming skull, and not just a screaming skull, it's a screaming skull where the spine turns into a hand. Like, oh my god. And I love how that's also black, so it's like it doesn't draw your attention at first. You're just like, wow, what a cool red scythe. Oh my god, there's a screaming skeleton. I love it. It is so good. This is why it's really creative how designs can do it, how they can play with like contrast and like which colours pop into your eyes first and which ones like get understated and get overlooked. Like, the elements of this and this design are so good. Like you just give us a cursory glance and like the entire outfit kind of blends together, but you have the highlights of like their very light skin tone showing exactly, like it just shows immediately. Even if you're looking at this out from across the room and like you haven't got your glasses on, you can see like this is a character who has some sort of cool suit on, but they're also like, it's a skimpy suit of some sort. So they seem to have some sort of like contrasting androgynous personality, because like obviously like a suit is supposed to be a stereotypical masculine thing, which is supposed to be like, oh, very serious and very non-fan servicey, and then you have a contrast of like I do appreciate its designs too, how this character is clearly supposed to be some sort of like attractive character, but like I can't really tell, but I'm just assuming because of how they tend to draw that for some reason. Whenever characters are supposed to be attractive, they draw like really shiny highlights on their knees, and I don't know why. That's something I've noticed in anime characters that are supposed to be fan service. They draw their skin really shiny, and for some reason it always tends to be on like the knees or the shoulders or the elbows, and it's like you'd think it would be on like the boobies or one of the fan service thingamajiggies, but that's just a thing I've noticed, and it seems to be happening. But yeah, you can tell this character is supposed to be a sexy character in some way, but they're also like not overwhelmingly super fan service ridiculous to the point where like people like me who are asexual who'd be like, no, I don't want to look at it, that's like kind of gross. Like this is a character who can be appealing to people who like sexy characters and also appealing to people who don't like sexy characters, and that's really good. As opposed to like, it's weird because I'll bring up an example of like Bayonetta, but in that series there are some character designs which are like super disgusting to me, and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to look at the booby people. And there are some designs in that series which are like relatively, like they're a character like who is sexy, but then they also don't show very much skin. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good with this. There are no exposed genitalia or blobble knobs out in my screen here. Because I remember I was looking through Bayonetta concept art to look at the monsters in that series because they have really cool monster designs. I'm going wild on top of it. Anyway, really like the red crystal ridiculous cipher of like, I wonder what language that's written in that. I wonder if that's just supposed to be a symbol or if it actually is written in some sort of language that's saying some sort of special message. That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool to like kick someone's ass with like a giant screaming skull cipher which also has like an entire poem written on it. Like what if the writing on it changes to be like a specific put down of whoever you're kicking the ass of. That would be really cool. But anyway, I really like this design, this cool non-binary character, and I'm glad that if they are having fan service characters in this game, but they're being equal opportunity with the fan service, and also not making them overwhelmingly disgustingly like super my eyes for sex, it burns. But and then also I really appreciate that this character has a nice grandpa, and I'm assuming this grandpa is nice and supportive, because I'm sure if his grandpa was like bigoted and awful, then my friends wouldn't have put him on the list and stuff like that, because that would have just made me sad. But anyway, I'm glad that we have a nice supportive family for a nice supportive LGBT plus character in this game, which I have never played, but I'm giving 100% like million thumbs up to the game directors for having nice inclusiveness, and also like not just having nice inclusiveness, but also having nice inclusiveness was an amazing, awesome design. Like, I mean, come on, you gave like the best character design to the non-binary people. Like, hell yeah. So anyway, fave and also fave, yeah. Azrael from BlazBlue! This guy wants to give you a hug. He reminds me of watching that Kamina guy from that anime, which like everyone kept telling me, oh, this anime is so great. Like, oh, it's just a really big stirring tale of like some guy friendship, and then there's robots. But then I'm just like, I personally, for me, I'm not a fan of extreme fan service. When people are like, oh, watch Kill la Kill, it's like it's got this great story, but like I cannot put up with like looking at like extended shots of like this young teenager's crotch. That's not my thing, sorry. But yeah, this guy, his design reminds me of the blue guy from that one. He got old, and then he crossed him with like One Piece somehow. And what was it, volume 3 of One Piece, they had like on the cover, Luffy was wearing like a shoulder cape thingy that he never actually wears in the actual series, and that's what was vaguely giving that vibe. I'm being very specific. There's a bit of like miscommunication with the design though, because the cape just coincidentally happens to be in exactly the same place as his hair, and it covers up like 90% of his hair. So when I first looked at this, I couldn't tell this character's supposed to be long haired, and I was like, is that a tassel on the end of the cape? I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be his hair, and it's supposed to be long haired. So I feel like composition wise in the picture, you maybe shouldn't have had the cape flow out in exactly the same pattern as the hair, so it kind of like covers up half of it. I'm really talking about minor details to this design to cover up the fact that I don't really have much, like, this just doesn't appeal to me very much, sorry. Again, me not liking fan service characters. This character seems to be an older gentleman of some kind. Well, I like grandpa characters in like a platonic way, where I just want to give him a hug, and I would like a nice mentor figure, like a grandpa or an uncle, a dad, or a mum or a grandma. It's less common to find like grandmas in fiction as opposed to grandpas for some reason. You always tend to have like the mentor grandpa, you don't always often have the mentor grandma. That's why I really like Panako Rock. But I'm going way off topic. Pretty much nothing in this design that appeals to me, sorry. It is hard to like look at it objectively, aside from just the fact that this person is very muscular and is probably supposed to be fan service to somebody. I don't get it. 100% power to people who do enjoy this stuff. I hope that me giving a negative opinion doesn't make you upset in any way. I'm very sorry. But I do like the asymmetry of the design, where he's got one swooshy leg. But I feel like the execution of it isn't very well done. This is a design where it's like, it's the opposite of what I said about, like, the mix of complexity and simplicity and, like, complexity making sense together. This seems like someone just slapped together, like, a million different design traits with, like, no coherent idea of, like, how they would represent anything about the character's personality, or, like, how they would really go together. Like, I mean, you just look over him, he's wearing 2 different shoes on top of everything, and, like, one of his shoes is, like, a horseshoe. I don't know if that's a real thing people do, like, is that to help people get through the snow or something? It's like a snowplow, but then he's got his shirt off, so he can't be in the snow. And then he's got these really big belts for no reason. It's like, I'm wearing 2 belts and they're too big, and then the belts are there to hold in this leg pocket. Why is he wearing trousers over trousers? And why is he wearing trousers over trousers, and one of the trousers is half a trouser that is attached to, like, a pocket clip? There are so many easier ways to do it. You could have just bought a pair of trousers where, like, one side's a different colour. But, like, you have to wear his entire, like, butt harness to keep your one trouser leg on. And just, the colours, nothing goes together. It's like, hey, we got bright blue hair, we got red, we got white, we got yellow, we got black, we got more yellow, we got slightly different yellows, we got brown, we got like, there's like this reddish tattoos all over. And even though there's more purple, it's like, and the white of the trousers and the white of the cape are slightly different white, and I'm just, nothing here is in, like, even the same genre of anything. Was this some sort of like evil government experiment to slap together so many? Like, if you told me this was actually a Photoshop of, like, 5 different characters together, I would believe you. He's trying very hard to be 50 different things, and at the same time I cannot, like, specify what any one of those things is. But, like, if you took away, like, all of the details taken out of the way, I do fundamentally like the idea of, like, a character who has, like, a little spiky triangle beard and, like, really long Rapunzel hair. That's a cool idea. And like, I guess the pose is nice. He's doing, like, some sort of, like, monster roar pose, and I guess, and maybe this character is confident. I don't know. You'd have to be confident to wear that. Sorry, I'm in no place to be, like, criticising people who are being fashion villains, the fashion victims. Sorry, I would say this guy, like, the final boss of, like, the Met Gala. He also kind of looks like Lahal from Disgaea. It's like an AU of Lahal from Disgaea where he doesn't get redeemed at the end of the first game. It's just like, he took, like, bad ending Lahal and then mixed him with a guy from Gurren Lagann and then mixed him with, like, 5 different Hot Topics. He's even got a little antenna. I didn't even notice. Again, there's so much, everything is distracting you from everything else. And what even is this little shape in the background? I'm sorry. Farewell. I have to say farewell, otherwise I'll spend the rest of the entire video just looking at this guy and being like, what? I really like this cool monster, oh my gosh! Oh, that is so... I have no idea. Merkava from Under Night Inverse. That's such a weird title for a game or an anime or whatever this character is from, but I love this character design. Like, oh my god, I love scrungly, grembled, like my favourite types of monsters are, like, either, like, demon monsters or, like, ghost monsters, like zombie monsters. Not because I, like, inherently like any of the things about those, but just about the design traits. I always like when those design traits are given to a character who's, like, actually not evil. Like, I really like characters who look really spooky but then they're not evil, because I'm just like, it makes me feel guilty for, like, a bazillion years. Like, whenever I like a character, they always turn out to be evil because those design traits are supposed to be for evil. I hope this character isn't evil. But their head reminds me of not Apocalypse, but, like, the Diaborimon's evolution, which is not called Apocalypse, but I can't remember what it is, but it's something similar to that. Diaborimon's evolution has a crunkly mouth like that, which is like a flat, like, shark mouth, but, like, on a humanoid type facial frame, and I really love that. I love the appeal of, like, characters who have, like big old crunchy detailed chompily mouths, and then like cute little dot eyes. I love how the eyes are like almost like the power source. It's like a cybernetic demon monster of some kind. Like the eyes like an all like the Tron lines shooting out their eyes, like sending all this energy to their power. Like how like the hair cape thing. I'm not sure if that's hair or a cape, but it's like it's made of electricity, and it really like I just imagine like this character, like when they sleep, like all their lines go off, and then like their hair disappears, and then like when they wake up, it's like powering up, and then their hair goes swoosh, and it shoots out, like it's made of like hard light lasers or something. I love the appealing of it, but it's like how it's a gradient too, like a magical gradient, like electricity hair. It looks so good. How it's like, especially how they planned out where the gradient is to like have maximum synergy of like how it passes over the body in this design. Like you can see like where it meets the head, you have this like the whitest part of the gradient popping out to like highlight and to draw your eyes to the head where you have the cool glowing eyes, and then like it swooshes off, and then you also have it like drawing over here, and then when it starts crossing back over the body again, you have this glowing different blue color at the end, and it's just like it's really good. And I really like characters where it's like, hey, you have like a basic like almost humanoid body base, but we're gonna have him like have a strange mannerism. Like you can see here, like this character is like a humanoid shape, and all like very hunched and like super long spine, and like they stand on like the balls of their feet, and not the balls of their feet, the tippies of their feet rather than the balls of their feet, and it's like it makes me think this character's gonna go Naruto run over, and then they're all human shaped, but then they don't have any arms. They have like tentacles instead of arms. And they go wee. It makes me think that when that happened, they're like those inflatable tube menu like advertised car dealerships. But like, oh my god, we should replace every car dealership salesman with this exact demon. That would be amazing. The world would improve so much. I would buy anything from this character. Like, oh my gosh, I want to be this character. Like, this is like a character like in the grand scheme of like cool monsters, this is like up in the leagues of like cool monsters. If I could be a cool monster in some sort of video game, I would want to be something that looks like this kind of aesthetic. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love like again, it's like a void aesthetic, like really big non-binary appeal to like void aesthetic, because like obvious reasons, it's like someone who isn't comfortable in their body and is feeling dysphoric. I would rather just like not have a body. But this character's like, obviously they do have a body, but they have the same appeal as a character who's like a blank void. I'm sorry to give an example of what I mean. The guy from He-Man and Orko, whatever it is, then like the black mages from Final Fantasy and stuff like that, where it's like just like a void character and like wearing clothes and with dotty eyes and stuff, and you never know if like they're just shadowed or if they really are just nothing but like literally a shadow that came to life. This has got that appeal of that, but while having a physical body. This is like if you had a character who's a physical body which had the same aesthetic of that, and this could be like an entirely plausible design for like what Final Fantasy black mages look like underneath the outfit. And if they revealed that, I would be so happy. Like, oh my god, I would love to like have an entire fantasy species of these guys just being like friendly magicians in like a cute little town, and they're all super sympathetic and lovely, and like they raise a chocobo named Bobby Corwin, and like I'm really like, this character, if you put a little hat on them, I would like be ecstatic. Like, you know what I said before about top hats and long hair? Put a top hat on this character right now. Oh my gosh, just imagine the sheer appeal of that. I want to know what if it's see, I would normally be put off by a series with a name like that, because like you've got the word birth in it. It makes me think, oh no, it's some sort of sex thingamajiggy. I don't know if it is, or it's just one of those like really nonsensical Japanese titles for things where it's like they throw in a bunch of English words that sound cool but don't necessarily make sense in that order. But like, I want to risk a chance of this accidentally blundering into a hentai just to see what the context of this character is, and see more poses of them doing cool stuff with their big old wavy arms and their cool electric magical hair and cyberpunk eyes, and like, oh my god, are they a robot? Are they some sort of energy being? Like some sort of like storm elemental? I don't even know. I just want to be their friend, and I want to give them a big old hug. And if hypothetically, if someone made like an MMORPG with a character like you can play as this, and you can have like 50 different custom variations of this, I would play that. Because that's one reason why I rarely ever get into MMOs nowadays, is because the character selection options suck. And that's what I hate. It's like, hey, we'll have a game. We have like 8 different like eight different fantasy races, but they all look exactly like humans with like one minor change. I'm like, oh my god, like Final Fantasy 14, like you basically have no choice except to play as a Lalafell, because like every other option is boring. Like it's like, hey, we have the cat people which look exactly like people. Hey, we have the dragon people which look exactly. And it's not even just looking like humans. It's looking like a stereotyped version of humans. I hate that. It's like, hey, we have this race here where, like, the men are all big, all buff, and they actually get to be monsters, and the women just look like hourglass people. Hey, we've released a new expansion with a new race where the men are even more monstery, and the women are even more hourglass sexual fantasy people. Hey, we're going to release a new race where, the bloody dragon people, like, the men are actual dragons, and the women look like small children with hourglass figures. It's so weird. And it's just every single... It's like, we've released the same race over again. It's like you even right into the lore, like, oh, by the way, this is how it works, is the men are always buff and the women are always hourglass figures, and it's just like, you don't have to make up a justification of like, oh, in the fantasy world everyone looks like my sexual fantasy, and it's just like, can we have a little bit of variety for people who don't play things for sexual, like, even just like not everyone's sexual fantasy is going to be exactly the same thing, seriously. But yeah, MMORPGs should have at least one monster race, like, once forever. Like, literally the only net game I know which has that is Guild Wars 2. I've never been able to get into that myself because I'm not really a fan of like strategy type. Like, I am a fan of strategy RPGs, but not like real-time RTS strategy stuff. I've been told that's what it is, I think, but I haven't really tried playing it myself. Anyway, I'm really liking that one. That's like literally the only MMORPG I've ever found where like they have like gender equal amounts of monsteriness. Like, you have, hey, here's the race of the magical tiger people, and like, hey, here's a boy magical tiger person, hey, here's a girl magical tiger person. Not, hey, here's a boy magical tiger person, hey, here's a girl human with cat ears. That is just, if you've ever played Dream of Mirror Online, that has the most egregious example of that I've ever seen. There's like one species in there, it's like the male option is like being a big old crazy lizard ogre person, and the female option is being a human with cat ears. It's like, there's no correlation whatsoever. It's not even like a human lizard person and like a monster lizard person, or like a monster cat person and a human cat person. It's like, no, the men are big alligator people and the women are sexy cat girls. And they literally justify the flavor text for the race is like, oh, women look like this because a woman's power is her sexuality. Like, they're a race that values strength, and a woman's strength is being sexy. Hate it. Anyway, I want to play an MMORPG where everyone is one of these cool guys, and you get to customize your cool cyberpunk patterns and your fancy hair, and like maybe you could have like hair made of here's the electricity hair, like the cloud hair and the fire hair and the water hair, and like, hey, we're all gonna be like funky wavy tentacle arm people with funky hair, and that's just it. And like, yeah. Obviously, in an ideal world, an MMORPG would have an option that everyone can play a character they like, but, I mean, we've had enough games where the only option is being super sexualized people. We can afford to have one game when the only option is to be a cool monster. Come on, even if I'm the only person who probably play that. I've just realised I forgot to rank this character. I went on babbling on about how much I hate MMORPG gender dimorphism. So anyway, fave. Can I put this on a higher tier of fave among the other ones? Because like, much as I love these characters right here, this character is like all-time fave. This is like literally one of the fave designs I've seen since I first started doing a Friend and Farewell series. Like, oh my gosh, I love them. Merkava from Unnight Inverse, whatever that is. I'm gonna go and Google that as soon as I stop this.